Let's go. Let's go, Mets fans. That's a sweep. Sweep the Phillies. Damn, that was really good. That was really good baseball. The Mets did not lose a single game on this homestand. 4-game sweep of the Cardinals, 3-game sweep of the National League East defending champion Philadelphia Phillies. This was unbelievable. Every single second of this felt incredible for the New York Mets. They come back in games, they win games, walk-offs, any way you could imagine it. The Mets went out, got the job done every single game, a different guy in every single game. Francisco Lindor's playing amazing. Soto's not hitting, but he makes great plays in the field for us back-to-back days. Like, what is going on? What is happening here? So pumped to talk to you guys about this Philly series. Again, sweep, let's go. Get pumped. Make sure you're subscribed to the Mets'd podcast over on YouTube. And if you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. James, we just ripped game 3. What a game. How are we feeling now?
Dude, amazing. Shout out to you for going to all 3 games of the series. I made it to 2 myself. I can't get over what Citi Field has been like this season. I've never seen anything like this. Like, this kind of reminds me, the only thing I think is reminiscent of like 2006, 2007 in Shea Stadium. But I was a kid. I wasn't going to this
10
many
and
games.
11, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wasn't in the city this much. I was going to like a game every other week, Friday nights. But this is like, it's magnificent in that place. Like, from the first pitch until Marte hit that walk-off, the place was buzzing every single time. There was a couple of moments where it was lulling a little bit, 8th, 9th inning, but like the fans are locked in. People are going crazy. There were 36,000 people there on a Wednesday afternoon, 1:00. Like, I know you and I have different situations, but like nobody has jobs. Like, this is incredible. Like, that they pack that place. Even Monday night too, the place was buzzing on a Monday night. It wasn't anything like the weekend against the Cardinals, because that's a weekend, nice weather. Monday night was 40 degrees. On Monday night in April, and that place was completely electric from first pitch to last out. It didn't stop the entire time. And the best part about this too is that we just finished up a 13-game and 13-day stretch. Our pitching was stretched like all the way literally to its exact limit. Like, we had to use every single guy, probably a little bit more than we've wanted to. Max Kranick coming in for an injured Edwin Diaz at the end of this game after he threw 36 pitches 2 days ago on Monday, 1 day off in between, finding a way to get those out to keep it the 1-run game so we had the ability to win it in the 10th. This was such an all-hands-on-deck 2 weeks of Mets baseball, and they played so fucking well through the whole way of it. Contributions from every single guy 1 through 26, like top down. Like, this is like, I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because April, of course. It's just like, this was like a special 2 weeks of watching the Mets play baseball.
This is what good baseball teams do, and this is something that we've been preaching on this podcast from day one. Like, we have adults in the room now, and it's clear that the decisions being made are ones that are winning decisions, which is really nice. Every single player on the roster made an impact at some point during this homestand, especially in the Phillies series. Like, even Jose Azocar made an impact in the game that he started in place of Brandon Nimmo. Played a good outfield, had a couple of hits. He made an impact. Brett Beatty hit the home run off of Zach Wheeler in game 3. Like, you can literally go through every single player on this team and mention something positive that they did in this series, which is unbelievable for a Mets roster that is just like, I don't even think it's playing to its fullest potential yet. I really think there's still room for this team to play even better, but this is showing you right now that if you're a Mets fan, you should feel confident about this team moving forward. I mean, they have the best record in baseball. You don't win any awards for that. You don't hang any banners for that right now, playing incredibly good baseball. But they can be even better. Like, Juan Soto's not at his fullest right now. Brandon Nimmo has been struggling. And yet this team, especially on the pitching side, has been absolute nails.
No, just to even go through some of like where we are so far this season in terms of pitching stuff. Full team ERA, the Mets have the lowest in baseball, 2.34. The Padres are next lowest at 2.92. There's more than a half of a run in between what the Mets pitcher is doing right now and what the Padres pitcher is doing. And then looking more past that, like strikeout rate, the Mets are second only behind the Dodgers, 26%. Strikeout minus walk rate, we're a little bit further than that, but we're still in the top 6. Like, our whip right now, the team whip, the Mets, it's actually, funnily, 8. I thought it was going to be higher than that. But it's like, we're just, the way that we're able to pitch and nonstop. And also, again, to hammer down this fact of every single guy on this team making an impact. Like, Brandon Nimmo's not hitting right now. I think he's one of the guys right now who I think is the most notably not hitting at all. He made 2 or 3 great catches, great plays in the outfield this game too. Luis Torrens, who's just been a marvel. That's like that for somehow in some way after signing Juan Soto, like this might be the best move that David Stearns has pulled off, was acquiring Luis Torrens for $100,000 from the Yankees, who could definitely use a backup or a starting catcher right now. he comes in this game cold late for Hayden Sanger. I know it didn't amount to anything, but he got a pinch hit, squeak one through the hole. Then he comes in to catch his next inning, takes the ball off his face, takes another ball off his arm. Like the way the guy gets beat up back there, just always finds a way to get up and keep playing. It's like there's 26 guys deep. Like I look back a lot, like the day that they hired David Stearns and all that announcement was happening at the end of the 23 season, which was just such a horrible year, just being so over the moon excited about what was happening.
That along with Buck being fired was like our Super Bowl in like a month.
But just like all that shit together, it's like, it's understanding like the big moves are one thing, but these little moves, being able to complete a roster, a bullpen that most people, probably even 70% of Mets fans can't name every guy in this bullpen. And they go through and every single guy has an ERA that starts with a 2. Danny Young, talk about every single guy contributing. Back-to-back strikeouts of Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. It's like Huascar Brosman came in when David Peterson couldn't get through the 6th. It's like it's Jose Puto. Juan Soto helped him a lot, but just like every single guy throwing their zeros and giving this offense the chance to find their way and finally do it in a day that they were basically dead the entire time.
Yeah, the Mets really didn't play well from an offensive standpoint at all.
We're not hitting at all. The whole season we haven't hit.
You can look at this lineup, and it's like realistically, it's been Lindor and Alonso doing everything. And Lindor has really only gotten hot since this homestand. Like in these last 10 games or so, he's gone absolutely nuclear, and he's got the batting average above 300, the OPS above 850. He's playing fantastic defense. Pete Alonso, every single time it seems like comes up with guys on and drives in a run, makes a big play. He had that huge gap double in the extra innings to make the game a tie game after the Phillies came out and scored a quick one against Edwin Diaz and Max Kranick in the 10th. Like, these are the things that make me so confident, again, not only about the players on the field, but also Carlos Mendoza too. Like, these guys are ready every single day. They don't give up. They fight to the last out. It's really, really like corny shit, I know. But this is why I think a lot of people fell in love with this team last year. People thought it was like the Jose Iglesias, JD Martinez, like that stuff made a big difference. And I'm sure it did, maybe to create this culture. But they're continuing on with it of games aren't over until that final out is recorded. And I absolutely love it.
No, the team they subscribe to that nonstop. And again, a lot of this, give credit to you guys. It comes back to the fans in the ballpark because Ronnie and Keith are talking about it. Pete, Lindor, Juan Soto are talking about it. Like Carlos Mendoza is mentioning it. Like the things that we're doing, packing that place every single day. And again, shout out to Steve Cohen and Alex Cohen for creating this environment that Mets fans want to be a part of, and the amount of more Mets fans they're bringing in. I have cousins that have never ever cared about baseball or the Mets in their entire lives, and they've been to multiple Mets games this season. My one cousin who's like just getting really into the Mets right now, I think just because like the family's into it, some uncles are into it, his cousins, like me with the show and everything. He's watching these Mets games like he's literally taking in Mets baseball for the first time. Like in our group chat today, while he was in Citi Field, he texted all caps, "Zach Wheeler used to be a Met?" Like question mark, question mark, question mark. He did the same thing with Pete Crow Armstrong the other day, where it's just like, what the like. But like Pete, everyone wants to be a part of this team and this culture right now. You can feel it, like it's on the streets. Like you said, the guy yelled at you coming home.
I was walking home on the subway in Astoria, and I'm coming down my street, and all of a sudden there's a guy on a moped, like one of the food delivery guys, screaming at me on my walk to the subway going to the game. I had a like 70-year-old man who must have been born and raised in Astoria screaming at me. He's like, "That's a real Queens guy right there. I love that shirt. Let's fucking go Mets." And I'm like, yes, like it's. I always think back, and we've made the joke many times on this podcast about the other guys when they get Knicks fever, and you like see Will Ferrell on the Jumbotron at the Knicks game. Like, I've got Knicks fever. It feels like there's a Mets fever right now. And like, I mean, fans of other teams are showing up today. I saw a kid today. I went to the 300 level when I was trying to find some food. The lines were extremely long and slow, but that's fine. Whatever. Good baseball. They win. I saw a kid in a Braves jersey walking around saying, "I know I'm wearing a Braves jersey. I'm looking to trade it for a Mets one if anyone will do that." It's like, I love seeing that kind of stuff. Like, this is awesome. People want to be not only watching Mets games, being Mets fans, but they want to be at the stadium too. It's so much fun at the game.
And again, it's because of this environment that we created at the stadium. Like the stadium is fun. The place is jumping. People, and again, it's not like last year. Like everyone gave a shit for the gimmick, the team of gimmicks, and like
people care about baseball right now,
and the baseball is good, and people are locked in on these games, and people every single pitch. And the other part of it too is just the way they've totally massacred the schedule. So we only get 6 chances the entire year to actually play the Phillies in Citi Field and be able to get a chance at this team. So part of that is cool that you only have 6 chances a year to beat this team on your home field. So to beat them 3 of those times, amazing. But also, like we're talking about the fans, like people want to be at these games against the Phillies. Like we hate the Phillies. The best part about baseball, one of the best parts, I think, is the rivalries. And even the fact that, again, you went to all 3 games of the series. Like, I got to go to 2 of them. We met our guy Yuri from the Netherlands. He came here. He's a preschool teacher while he's on spring break. And he's like, I had to come to these games against the Phillies. So shout out to Yuri for that one. But it's just like, these games do mean more, even though it is April. And it's cool to be able to win them. Even though it's still April, there's not that many of these, so it's amazing to get these wins when you have the chance.
No, it's super important. I mean, just even for the season series, being able to take 3 as opposed to 2 is a huge switch. That's a 2-game flip right there. That's being up theoretically 3 games on the Phillies right now as opposed to being up 1, which is massive going down the stretch as these 2 teams are going to be competing for the National League East. I mean, end of the day, sick homestand, took care of business. Let's dive a little bit deeper into what was going on in some of these games. Again, we'll start off with Game 3 because that's the most recent one. 36,000 people at Citi Field. We had our boy Wardy out there who was sending us. We had Drewski, not the expert, out there with us. We had Jordan, who you guys have seen does Mets music all the time, does
Jordan
amazing
Simpson.
stuff over there. Jordan Simpson. So we had a bunch of just Jolly Olive was at the game. Like, there was just everybody in the Mets world was at the Mets game today. It felt like one of those where, especially on the precipice of a sweep, you had to be there. And again, like you said, the place was rocking from first pitch all the way to Starling Marte's walk-off. It felt like exhausting at times because it was just like Brett Beatty hit that big 2-run home run. Then David Peterson kind of gave it up like within the next couple innings. And then there was the back and forth and big plays. And the Phillies truthfully out hit the Mets in this game pretty easily in this one. They had a bunch of hits all over the place. They just couldn't get those runs in. But like, wow, good teams win these baseball games. The Mets are a good team.
FT fam, Arena Club is the modern way to collect cards or buy or sell or trade or even grade. And we're highlighting slab packs because this is the new way to rip open a pack, get a really good card, AJ. But also, if you're not into the card, like I know you pulled a Bob Gibson card recently, you can get an offer of 90% of the estimated value and just accept it on the spot and give it right back and maybe try again with another slab pack.
I ain't getting rid of my Bob Gibson autograph card. Bob Gibson ain't signing cards anytime soon, so I'm keeping this one. It gets graded for you. There's no mess. The only thing I wish they had bubble gum. Can they virtually send me some bubble gum, Scott? Other than that, it's awesome. You can buy, sell cards. They grade them instantly for you. And physically, you can also get the cards if you want them. So I'm all for this. This is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, those cards are in your showroom in the app. And then, of course, you can get the card physically sent to you. So right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/FOUL. That's arenaclub.com/FOUL. Code FOUL for 20% off your first purchase.
It's just finding a way. Like the Mets, this was another game where the Mets have had a few of those this year. Well, I didn't really feel like we deserved to win this game necessarily. It didn't really feel like that for most of it, but it's just, again, finding a way, like hanging in. And it's because the Mets did a lot of little things right. And I feel like the Phillies did a lot of little things wrong. And a lot of it comes back to those Juan Soto plays at the plate, where the first one came in the second inning when Alec Bohm was over there, and I think it was bases loaded. And then there's a pop-up to Juan Soto, throws a cannon home. Bohm doesn't test the arm. I believe it was the next play. Lindor fields a ball in the hole, and he kind of spikes a throw, and Beatty makes a nice pick on it at second base. It was a really nice play there as well. And then the big play in the eighth inning, of course, with Castellanos on third, test Soto's arm on the single. And Soto nails him. A play where Castellanos, if he slid like any kind of athletic human being, like he definitely would have made it in there. And it happened again in the 10th inning with Castellanos on third again in a time where the Phillies already stretched the game to 1. It felt like there was a slight moment briefly kind of where it could have gotten out of hand. And it's been documented that the road team does have the advantage in these with the new extra inning rules. So we have years of data now showing the road team wins more often, which is significant because that's a real break from what's happened in Major League history with extra inning games and games in general. But the fact that we were able to keep it at 1, and mostly because Castellanos was now afraid of Juan Soto's arm in the outfield. Max Crank did a great job to tighten that up after Diaz left with the injury, which we haven't heard much about yet. He had a crazy quote as to why.
I heard it was cramps. That's what Mendoza said.
You hear they said that the medical staff saw that one of his legs was longer than the other, and then Diaz's next word was they fixed the issue. So I mean, I guess they elongated or shortened one of his legs.
Did they shave it down?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get confirmation on that eventually. But like just those plays in such a tight game, when then you're not really hitting as a team, and your bullpen's absolutely on its last legs, like the dying breath, like the last gasp of air before they finally have an off day after 2 weeks. Being able to stop runs with defense is massive, and it's so big that they were able to do that. Juan Soto specifically.
Yeah, it feels like a chaos fever dream that we're talking about Juan Soto's defense being a difference maker in a game when the bat really hasn't done much so far. But we're like, yeah, Juan Soto's glove in his arm, man. Can you believe what he did for us today? That's so backwards, and I never really thought I was going to say that ever as a Mets fan, and I'm sure a lot of people who are hate watching also never thought that they would say Juan Soto's defense would be winning them games. But as we know, fans of other teams are coming to the ballpark to try and, disguise themselves as Mets fans to boo Juan Soto and chant against Juan Soto, which is just even crazier. Big shout out to Max Kranick in this one, too, coming in for Edwin Diaz in the 10th. Sticky situation. Diaz came out with the cramps. Max Kranick coming in and just shutting the door. Did a really, really good job for a guy who you mentioned earlier. Threw 30-plus pitches the other night, 1 day of rest. Max Kranick bear down was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I bet that if you could have given Carlos Mendoza a truth serum, maybe not truth serum. I'm sure someone asked him this after the game. Like, could you expect Max Kranick? Did you want him pitching today? Probably been like, no, absolutely not. I did not want to bring Max Kranick in this game. They might have said the same thing about Brazoban. They probably said the same thing about Reed Garrett, who was actually warming up during the bottom of the 10th. Like, I can't let these guys pitch. But again, 13 games in 13 days. The way that this bullpen rotation was stretched out and stressed over these 2 weeks, and the fact that they delivered every single time that they were on the field. Like the fact that Peterson, we say he struggled today, gave up 2 runs. Like that felt like an aberration. That Mets starting pitcher gave up 2 runs in a home game. That feels like something like that has barely ever even happened this year. And the Phillies were really getting around on him. He was not missing many bats. I think the Phillies had something like, I think it was like 9 of like the 15 hard hit balls in this game belonged to the Philadelphia Phillies. Like they were smoking the ball, and the Mets were really struggling to make any solid contact besides Pete Alonso. Just looking at the box score right now, Trey Turner 3 hard hit balls, Real Muto 3, Bohm 3. Like they were on us today, and they just couldn't find a way. And it feels I don't know. It feels like the exact opposite of how it felt at the beginning of the season last year. Where this Phillies team right now has to feel like they could do no right, specifically against this Mets team. Because now dating all the way back to when Luis Torrens arrived and we had that big London series win in June, the second game of that series, they've only beaten us 2 total times since then.
2, 3 times? Maybe 3 times?
I think it's 2 because we won 3 out of 4 in September, and then we won 3 out of 4 in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, you're not including that first London game. My bad. Yeah,
I'm sorry. Not unobjective.
Starting on a win.
Starting on the win, not including that loss. But it's just like this. Now we're on a stretch here where they definitely. And again, it's April. Doesn't really matter. But it's nice that, especially listening to their broadcasters, listening to their fans today in the ballpark, listening to Bryce Harper after the game.
Major loser energy.
It feels like right now we're in a moment, which is nice to have, that we have something over these guys. We're developing an edge on them, and you need that over the course of the season.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Phillies fans were chanting Eagles after the game, EAGLES, which is surprising because they didn't think Philly fans could really spell. We saw their mayor had an issue spelling Eagles when they were trying to do that before one of their games. They crawled back into their sewers and their shitholes or wherever they lived in Philadelphia, went back to the dungeons or whatever that they live in. Garbage city. Garbage people, let's go Mets. All right, that was game 3. Nice win. Love to see that.
One more thing I want to mention game 3.
Okay,
one more thing. Brett Baty has best game overall. We talked about the home run, and then he made a couple of really nice plays second base. He turned a nice little play. I mentioned the pick before and the Lindor ball in the hole. And then he also made like his actual first like legit nice play where he like came up the middle over the bag, made a jump throw to first base. To Pete, I was like, classic Brett Baty. The second the pressure is like really on. Like there it is. And I think we've got this whole thing. We barely talked about Starling Marte actually having the 2-out single to win the game. A guy who needed a base hit off Jordan Romano, who was just stinking.
I told you. I was like, Marte's so due for a walk-off hit here. Yeah. It's going to be him. I know it's going to be him.
And the Phillies had Romano warming up as early as the 3rd inning of this game. Then again in the middle innings. Then he finally came in to pitch the 10th, where it's like, this doesn't feel like it's going to be good. And again, just listening to these guys talk, it's really nice to hear.
Yeah. The Phillies broadcast post game. John Kruk not going crazy. I don't know what he did after game 3. We did hear their play by play. I think McCarthy or whatever. He was just like, Tom, the Mets win. All right, like God. But it was funny to see their post game show, which is absolutely electric after the Phillies lose. You would think that it's like World War III happening, or that like something of severe and actual like issue was going on. They were talking to John Kruk after game 2. Because the Phillies, of course, dropped the series. They've been having all these issues against the Mets. John Kruk's like, oh, no, how will they come back from this 3-game deficit over 130 games? The season's almost over. It's like that same energy is kind of like where we were last year in April, where it was like, oh, my God, like what's going on with this team? Like, how are we going to win baseball games? We had such a horrible start. That's kind of my cooler here. That's my cooler of like a little bit of a heat check. Hey, as good as we're playing, still so many baseball games left. This is but not any means over.
Oh, totally. Like at the same time, we could be very excited about having the best record in baseball through 20 25 games, but
Be
also
pumped.
understanding about what this actually means in context of the season. Like just for a frame of reference, guys, you guys remember how long last season was and how bad it felt at the time? Exactly a year ago on April 24th, 2024, the Mets were over 500.
It was crazy.
We weren't even bad yet. We were 13-11, and that's how long last season was. And if you remember that series that felt like an absolute knife to the chest last May when the Phillies took 3 or 4 from us, with the first 2 being at home and the next 2 being in Philadelphia when Edwin Diaz had a horrible blown save with Bryson Stott hitting the home run. Like just because the Phillies, we feel like we have an edge and we feel like we kind of own them right now. You remember how last season ended when that's the way the Mets season, the Philly season started last year. So there's a long way to go, but it's better to be winning games early. Bryce Harper had this quote too. It's like, I don't want to hear any of this early stuff. Like, I want to play good baseball from April to November. Like, that part is true. And that
was my take with Lindor and Soto earlier, like a week ago when I was like, I just want them to play better. That's it. I know they're very good. I just want better. And Lindor has stepped the fuck up. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy. 2 episodes ago, we were upset after a bad series against the Twins. We just rattled off 7 in a row. We have 2 6-game winning streaks this year.
We have 2 sweep episodes in a row. We don't get that very often.
Back-to-back sweeps. 2 different 6-game win streaks already. It's fucking crazy.
And sandwich that in between with Braves drama. Like, this is awesome.
It doesn't get much better than this. And even just going back now, it's a totally reverse order. Griffin Canning, game 2. It felt like that. Again, there was only times this series where it felt like, okay, especially between Wednesday and Tuesday, like, this is the game we're going to lose. Like, hard to sweep a team. Phillies are a good team. They're going to find a way to get through on us here. But, like, even that game, like, while it didn't exactly feel like it was likely that we were going to lose the game, it felt like it was a game we definitely could have lost. The Phillies made tons of hard contact on Griffin Canning in the first few innings.
Yeah, I texted you early. I was like, this is the Canning regression game. Like,
and I was like, I agree, because I think there was that point in the second inning where they had like 4 consecutive hard hit balls, and I was like, they're really finally lining them up. Like, this is not going to go that well. So between the first 2 innings of this game, the Phillies had 1-2, and then 94.5, but then 3-4 hard hit balls in the first 2 innings. And both of those innings, they batted around. They put 10 guys to the plate in 2 innings. They're like, okay, this finally is going to happen. But then after that, like, one of my favorite baseball sayings, like, Griffin Canning just kind of got in the rocking chair, and there was no pressure on him at all. It looked great again. He scattered a couple more hits, the 5 strikeouts. He was missing bats again with all 3 of his pitches. It's remarkable how good this guy has been this season, considering that last year he was, air quotes, the worst pitcher in baseball. The Mets got clowns for signing him. You guys were screaming us all offseason about how the fact that the Mets are going to allow Griffin Canning to be in their rotation. The Braves cut him. They were the Braves. Alex Anthopoulos, he would do Greek witchcraft black magic right now to get this guy in their rotation. He'd be their second best. No, not second best. Okay, I'm being a little facetious now, but he would completely change that guy's their season if he was in their rotation right now. Like, he's pitching differently every single game. This game was more fastballs, more early in the count. He's still missing a lot of bats with the slider. Kind of went away from the changeup, but the change was more in the zone. It was like he's really figuring some shit out. And it's amazing to watch start in, start out.
Mets signed him for what, $4 million, right? This offseason?
4 or 5, something like that.
4 or 5 million. We've used this stat a couple times before. Fangraphs assigns a dollar value to players' performance based on their stats and everything like that thus far. I think it might have to do with a little bit of war as well. Right now, Griffin Canning has been worth $3.9 million for the Mets.
God, house money the rest of the way.
House money the rest of the way. Like, that's obviously, we want him to continue to pitch well. That's not a serious take there, but like, it just goes to show you again the process of David Stearns, the process of this organization, and what they're looking at, what they're thinking about. Jeremy Hefner, Eric Yeager's, like, top down. It's just really, really good to see what happens when you have adults in the room, and it's not agents because you want to get a cheaper deal on Jacob deGrom.
I'm going to use the worst word I'm ever going to use in this podcast right now, but I'm going to use it because I think this is the actual time it works. It's synergy.
Ooh,
like, there's a cohesiveness right now between everything going on. Like, there's a streamlined, completely clear line of logic and consciousness that's happening from Yeagers and Hefner to Stearns to Mendoza to Stephen Alex Cohen. Like, everyone right now is thinking similarly, and everyone's on the same page, and they're able to work with each other, utilize everyone's strengths and weaknesses, and make these things happen. And a crazy conversation was happening today in the Mets'd Up Discord. If you guys want to join the Mets'd Up Discord, let us know. That the link will be in the description, where people were talking about what actually is going to happen with this rotation when Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas are healthy.
It's true, yeah.
Because those guys were on the field and throwing. I think it was before Tuesday's game, maybe even before Monday's as well. And they're going to be probably throwing some bullpens and getting rehab assignments going soon. Hopefully they come back by the end of May, early June. I don't know who to take out of this rotation.
Where do they go?
I'm sure this is going to work itself out by then, because it always does with pitching in Major League Baseball. But like, I can't even believe we're 4 weeks into the season, we're having conversations like, who's going to leave the Mets rotation to make room for Sean Manaea right now? The guy who's going to be making the most money in the whole thing, because I don't know. Like, we're going to talk about Tylor Megill soon. I don't know if you can take him out of the rotation right now.
You gonna take Griffin Canning out? Like,
Well,
no.
you can't. He doesn't even have an option. You're not cutting Griffin Canning. People would be lining up down the street to sign Griffin Canning to their team, this version of Griffin Canning. The White Sox will be jumping over people to put him in their rotation. Like
number 2.
Like David Peterson. No, he didn't have the best start in the world on Wednesday, but like can't take him out of the rotation. It's
Nope.
like
Kodai.
again, this is us jinxing ourselves. Major knock on wood, because something's going to happen. We're going to find a way to make this all work. But it's like having those discussions on April 23rd, based on the discussions we were having when Nick Pollack came on this podcast, and what was that, like March 27th?
People were not happy.
It's
and you know what? The people were right. Nick was wrong.
People are right. It's so night and day. And also, again, like we're cruising for a bruising still. We're gonna get regression.
so
Something's
do.
gonna happen. We're gonna have a series where we give up like 27 runs. Like
We can't pitch like this for a full season. Like we like the pitchers. We like Jeremy Hefner. We like, again, what everything is looking like. But we know that Griffin Canning is not going to have a 3.2 ERA the entire year. Like that's just not possible.
No, for sure. And then even this game again, like thinking about like, okay, this is the game the Mets are going to lose. It's hard to sweep a team. Like I dropped the stat in the last podcast. The Phillies hadn't lost a start by Christopher Sanchez dating back to last August. And then he leaves this game. I guess it sucks for Christopher Sanchez. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball so far this season. I really hope he gets healthy. But he leaves the game in the second inning with like undescribed arm soreness. And then
Mets were chasing him too. Like they were smacking him around. He'd given up 2 earned runs, walked 2, 4 hits. Like the Mets were taking the best swings that anybody had against Christopher Sanchez this year.
They forced him to throw 58 pitches in 2 innings. I even thought the fact that it was just such high stress innings that they were like, we got to get him out of there. And then again, Jose Azocar, like in the middle of getting some hits, scoring the game tying run, shout out Major League Baseball for let's go ahead run in the second inning. But we just didn't look back. Like they got their one little run, and then Griffin Canning, the bullpen,
AJ Minter, 5 big booms, boom,
stop this stuff.
boom, boom, boom.
Getting to the end of the game still, and Pete and then Luis Torrens going just total clutch mode, 2 out RBIs, showing us how important Risp is and how much of an idiot I am. And then even the fact that someone like Ryan Stanek has his worst outing of the year. And I say worst in air quotes because this guy still has no .96 ERA. We Stanek at the disco always. That was probably the greatest call I've ever made in this podcast, begging for that guy to be on this team last offseason. And then we turn a nasty double play, and Pete makes an incredible pick at first base. And it's just like, it's every day we do little things and we win games. Like, it's just the script is the best right now.
And Juan Soto is still not even hitting. It's crazy.
Not even a little bit.
It's nuts. Like, it's been Lindor and Alonso doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Shout out Luis Angel Acuna again, another great series from him. He's just such a little freak. I love watching that guy play baseball. Like he's so damn zesty, and I absolutely love it. Vientos is swinging the bat a lot better. It's still not the Vientos we expect, but he's swinging the bat better, so that's positive signs. The defense is terrible at third, but that's just how it's going to be. He's not going to play good defense at third base the entire season. He never will. But the at-bats are getting better. That's positive signs. Even like Tyrone Taylor. I know Tyrone Taylor's numbers are putridly bad.
Stinking.
Like, horrible. I still feel like when he's making contact, it's been hard contact at least.
And at the end of the day, he's been amazing in center field. And that's really vital from this team because we'll talk about, I guess, after we briefly talk about game 1. But there's going to be a huge roster decision made on Friday morning for the Mets. And it's going to be between Jose Azocar and Brett Baty. And it's going to be fascinating to see what direction they go. But
I think it's also super understated, like you mentioned about like how good Taylor's been in center field, how good the defense has been in general. Like the reason why a lot of these Brewers teams in the past, and I keep comparing, but that's David Stern's, that was his baby. That was where he started. A lot of those teams, when you look at them on paper, like how are the pitchers pitching that well? How do they keep winning all these games? You play good defense, the pitching looks better because of that good defense, and you score enough runs, you're going to win a lot of the time. And that's basically what the Mets have been doing right now.
And having good relievers so that when you leave a game with 2 men on the 6th inning, none of the runs come in and get charged to your ERA.
Strikeouts are huge. Who would have known?
It's just crazy. But there's also like those Brewers teams, like a classic Rays team. But if you drop Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Juan Soto on top of it.
Yes.
Like if you're like, here's an extra $150 million to the Brewers. Like
just wait till those guys get good.
Yeah, right. Like that's kind of the whole thing that's going on right here. But it's just, again, another clean baseball game. Even going back to the game on Monday, we were both in the park for. Tylor Megill, guys.
Tylor
fucking Megill. Like, he busted out. Yeah, the U up this is if we're officially here. He busted out a kick change in this game too. That apparently he was working on this offseason, and he got 3 whiffs on 4 swings with it. And he's just like, you pull it out just enough, killed just enough vert. The command was okay on it, but it was still good enough. Like, it's the embarrassment of riches that this guy suddenly has in his repertoire, which I never ever would have said like even a year ago, where he was just going fastball sinker, just going after the Phillies. And he's also becoming a bit of a Phillies killer. I saw Corey Simons does pre and post game for Phillies and NBC Sports Philadelphia. Just talk about, I think he has a 1.62 ERA in his last 9 starts against the Phillies. I think the first of those being the beginning of that team no hitter from the 2022 season, which is really funny to think about how long ago that was. Tylor Megill, all 4 of his pitches he threw in this game had at least 3 swings and misses. I've never ever seen him do that his entire career. And I talked about last start how he was struggling to get on top of that slider. It didn't have the same depth. That's why he wasn't really able to get swings and misses, get chases. He fell behind the count more often. He had that depth totally back on Monday night, in a cold night, not an easy night to pitch. And he was awesome with that pitch. His fastball got up to 97. He has chip going on right now. And
he's got a bit of a chip on his shoulder, too. He was going up and in on Alec Boehm, brushing him off the plate. He was not afraid to be like, I'm in control right now. I'm pitching. You're gonna see the balls where I want them to go. And going up and on Alec Boehm, dropping those changeups, like you said, getting those swings and misses, it's like, damn, Big Drip's got confidence. It's kind of crazy.
Phillies had 1 hard hit ball against him in 5 1/3 innings, and he struck out 10. That was career high with 4 walks and one hit batsman. So
because of course it's still Tylor Megill.
I just 1 hard hit ball, 1 hit in general. But there was some moments of concern because there was that one time when he had 2 outs and he walked 3 consecutive guys at the end of the inning. We're like, oh, there's Tylor Megill, but. This is what I've been preaching, I guess, for too long about Tylor Megill for years, but just it's so close. It was always so close. And we're still not even there yet. We still haven't really fully clicked into place, but it's just, there's so much that he can do well that the margin for error is hilariously large right now for Tylor Megill because he sits 95, 96, touches 97 miles an hour. Now he has pitching that slider. He's developing that kick change. It's actually becoming a pitch he can throw a little bit more with confidence. The sinker is an awesome weapon against the righties that he started getting going last year. He's legit a good pitcher, and I'm really happy that this is finally all coalescing, coming together for him.
And also, my captain, Francisco Lindor.
Monster.
I mean, this guy, we mentioned it earlier, is just on such a tear right now. He is so locked in. The 2 home runs in this game were unbelievable. He had, I think, hits in every single game. He was getting on base. He's playing good defense. He has been on another level since they have come back to Citi Field. That Minnesota Twins series, we talked about, bad series. Ugh, forget about it. I can't believe we lost a series to that team based on the way that we just saw these guys play over the last 7. But Lindor at home is just a completely different animal. And especially Lindor against the Phillies, ever since that idiot put out that tweet that you sent me on Twitter DMs about Lindor's 2 for his last 26 against the Phillies, I think since then he's hitting 600 with 7 home runs or some ridiculous shit. He's so fucking good. It's really, really nice because I think the Lindorks are over. I think it's dead.
It's gone.
It's completely gone.
I have that tweet from @Phillies Tailgate, so I'm never going to really. I mean, we love to shout out the Philly fans on here when they're stupid, and they often are.
They're mutants.
There's a great one. This is hilarious date that this is from too. September 13th, 2024. Francisco Lindor is 2 for 26 against the Phillies this season. Nice.
What happened?
The whole thing was for 8. He did that tweet was for 80 likes, and it will live in total infamy. I have a bookmark ready to go for the next time something happens too, just making sure. And also, we got a Steve Cohen tweet while we were recording here.
Did we?
Yeah, I'll tell you that in a second. It was Steve Cohen just being very, analytical and finance. Steve Cohen here. I think he did make up a word, so I'll share that here. But we need to keep riding this wave. There will be mean reversion. Made that one up.
Reversion. Okay.
Reverson. Reversion. At some point, but there's something special happening at Citi Field. So much fun.
He's got a mean regression, right? Mean regression.
Mean reversion, or maybe reversion. I don't know. There will be mean regression. There definitely will be mean regression. He's right about that. That's the right way to think about this. But it's still really good right now. I had another tweet too from when Lindor hit the home run on or hit the double, hit the single. We hit the single on during Tuesday's game, and it was. Francisco Lindor had Rose's OPS from 683 to 864 between 10 at-bats.
It's crazy.
That also goes to show you guys how early in the season it still is and how little everyone's stats and records and standings and all that stuff matter. That being said, still nice to be at the top of them.
Yeah, I mean, love to be 18-7 after 25 games in the season. It's a really nice place to be. It feels a hell of a lot better than being a couple games over 500 like the Phillies. Feels sure of a lot better than being the Atlanta Braves. This is what we expected from this team. We knew that this team was good. We knew that this team could perform like this, especially with how last season ended. And I love that they're riding it through to the start of the 2025 season. And I've got to say this too. We said it at the end of the season last year. We caught a little bit of flack about what's fun. What's the most fun thing about baseball is winning. That's how you get people in the stadium. That's how you get people excited. And the Mets are winning baseball games. People are there. It's exciting. And it's way more fun than any gimmick could ever be.
way more fun. Not that gimmicks aren't fun, but when they come organically, they're great. Also, last thing I want to talk about on the field, just briefly. What'd you think of leaving in Cranick for the ninth inning with the 5-run lead on Monday?
In the moment, I thought we tried to get a little cute, but knowing that we had so many games in a row, like I
didn't hate it for that reason.
I don't know who else he could have gone to. Like, I don't think it should have been Edwin there. I wanted to not have Edwin pitch in this game. I was hoping we could avoid that. I don't know who it would have been, but it did feel like at the moment I was like, ooh, trying to get a little cute. I would have at least pulled him after that first batter got on.
Yeah, I'll disagree with you. I was pretty okay with it because I was like, this bullpen just being taxed but they were just being taxed so damn hard. Like the way it was going, like Budo pitched an inning a third day before, Danny Young had pitched, Ryan Stanek had pitched. Like just before that, like I mean, it's been Diaz, it's been 2 innings from Reed Garrett 2 days before on Saturday. Like it's just these guys have been working, so I didn't think that was bad. But I also didn't like the way they handled it. Diaz giving up that home run to Bryson Stott stunk, left a little sting in the mouth, but doesn't matter. We swept the whole series. Who cares?
Yeah, it was a little nerve wracking to see that one. We were like, oh man, like what a great win, but like I can't believe that game got that close.
Yeah, now but again, totally fine because again, what happened afterwards was just tremendous baseball. And then one thing I want to talk about before we get to a preview of a 4-game series against Washington Nationals is the fact that we got some news from Tacoma and the Mets people that there's the expectation that both Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez will be activated on Friday for the opening game against the Nationals. So I got to ask you too, who gets sent down for Jeff McNeil? Also, before we even do this, actually, shout out Hayden Sanger. Hayden Sanger had an incredible month with this team, proved he's a major league catcher, proved he's a guy who's going to be around for a while. Claps up for Hayden Sanger right here.
Let's go, Hayden.
That was, again, amazing time for Hayden Sanger. Prove that he is a catcher. He's a major league catcher, and he'll be around for a while.
Yes, yeah, he will be valuable to this team for many, many games to come. I'm sure a catcher is going to get hurt at some point during the time that he continues to be with the Mets. And defensively, something I mentioned to you, I was like, have you noticed no one's running on us anymore? Like, no one is trying to steal bases. That's a huge credit to Hayden Sanger, Luis Torrens, and the Mets coaching staff for getting that all in check. Back to the McNeil question, I think it has to be Azócar. I do. And the reason I say this is because Brandon Nimmo can play center field. Luis Angel Acuna can play center field. Jeff McNeil can play center field, it seems like. It may not be the Gold Glove caliber defense. It may not be top tier. It may not be to that same level as Tyrone Taylor. But I think right now with how the way that this Mets team is operating and working, I do think Brett Baty deserves a spot. They flashed a stat on the scoreboard during the game before he hit the home run that I think in his last 7 starts, he was hitting around 300 with an 800 OPS. He's playing better baseball. He's good defensively with Mark Vientos struggling like how he has defensively and offensively. Brett Baty's starting to heat up a little bit and does play better third base defense. I think there is more value to this team right now to have Brett Baty keep that option rather than have Jose Azócar, who could be a last inning, worst case scenario center fielder if you really need it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I'm on the same page. I don't know how much they're going to actually let some of these guys play center field to major league level because, like,
and they might not at all, honestly.
Yeah, because since Siri got hurt, I believe he's played all but 1 innings of center field when Brandon Nimmo mixed in that 1 inning when Jose Siri got injured. But it's been all Tyrone Taylor, and I think that when you have a lineup that's this good as the Mets lineup is, and I know it's not hitting as well as like it could be right now, like for sure, but you can have a dead spot or 2 in the lineup. You just can. Like it's okay as long as someone's giving you premier defense. Yeah, I don't want that. It's not the best case scenario, but like also Tyrone Taylor doesn't really give premier defense. He had to get a little golden sombrero on Wednesday as well, but it's worth it to have his glove out there and to keep these guys in the roster because you have a guy like Marte in the roster who can't play the field and is giving you great hit on Wednesday, which is a middling performance at the plate. And then you have a guy like Vientos at the roster who gives you no defense, and right now, middling performance at the plate. Like it's hard to stack all these guys together and kind of be able to have 2 deep at all these other positions because you have 2 guys who really don't have any defensive home. And at the end of the day, with Baty, he is by far the best defensive third baseman on the entire 40-man roster, and no one's close to him.
Like late in the game, you should probably pull Vientos for Baty at third base for defense, 100%.
Totally, or just you bring in Acuna for Baty at second base and move Baty to third. Like he's the Mets' best defensive lineup in the entire organization. It starts with Brett Baty at third base. And I think just from that function alone, even the fact that he can run into one, hit a 425-foot nuke against Zach Wheeler,
114.
It's worth having him at the bottom of this roster. I think more so than someone who, again, like you said, has to mix in center field once in a while. And you will lose Azócar. He doesn't have an option. Goes down to cuts. That's something you probably can find another Jose Azócar. Like that's someone who can mix in center field. It's also
the Padres are starting Oscar Gonzalez. Like these guys kind of just exist in the free agent market.
And I think it is telling that the one game Azócar started On Tuesday, he did not play center field. Tyrod
Yes.
Taylor still played center field. So I think that's the Mets telling us that this guy's a good outfield defender, but he's not a great one. And I think that's very telling as to what probably will happen with this roster decision. Also, the other thing, I just tinfoil cap, the way David Stearns thinks, Brett Baty has one option year left. The second he goes down to Syracuse, you lose that option year. And if there's ever an opportunity to trade him, if there's ever anything else that happens to Brett Baty, his value plummets immensely. The second that option is gone, and now he can never be sent back down to the minor leagues again without having to pass through waivers, which he will not do. His team would claim Brett Baty if he passed through waivers in a heartbeat. In a second.
%.
If you start third baseman on the White Sox the next day, absolutely the next day.
The Angels. There's a lot of teams I'll take this
the
guy.
Rockies. They'd love this guy. He might be a Hall of Famer on the Rockies.
He'd
but
crush.
that's just, I'm very curious to see this. I'm also very curious to see what the playing time split is between Torrens and Alvarez when he comes back.
I think that Torrens has cooled off a little bit. He got that big hit, spiked the bat on Tuesday, which was huge. Torrens is the man, plays great defense. I do think it's obviously still going to be Alvarez starting. I thought when Torrens was hot, you were going to give him the hot hand. But now that he's cooled off a little bit, I think you give it Alvarez. I think it should be about 50-50 split. Don't let Alvarez catch 2 games in a row, or if it's a late game, night game, and a 4 p.m., be smart about it. Both of these guys should be playing. They both have value to this team. And especially Luis Torrens on the defensive side, nobody can run on this guy. He's a freak. And that's been a kryptonite for Mets in the years past.
Yeah, and I also think the same is kind of becoming true with Acuna and McNeil. I think there's a really good chance, especially at this point in their career, Acuna's a significantly better defender than Jeff McNeil. I still believe in Jeff McNeil as a hitter. I know a lot of Mets fans don't, but I still think he's going to be able to walk back in and hit better than a Major League regular, where Acuna is still kind of on that razor's edge, but he does everything else so damn well. So I think it's going to be it's a really crazy thing that we're talking about. The Mets have too many good players right now, which is nice.
I have a crazy take about Acuna, and I want you to see how you feel about this.
Okay.
He almost has more value being a bench guy because he's not getting on base at a consistent base. Being able to just basically put him on base whenever you want, and then he can steal bases. I think that has almost immense, more value for this team right now than if you were playing every single day over a guy like Jeff McNeil.
What do you think Luis Angel Acuna's on-base percentage is right now?
330.
It's 360.
It's pretty high. What's the walk rate, to be
356.
fair?
The walk rate is over 10%.
Is it really?
I told you this when we talked about him last week. He's not barreling. He has no barrels on the season.
I thought it was just low K rate, low walk rate.
It's below both. That was always my thing with him. And it's a decent hard hit rate. Whereas, it's dropping a little bit, but he always finds a way to just get enough of the meaty part of that bat on to squeak one through the hole.
I still think you'd give it to McNeil, but I think you are going to see times where McNeil goes to the outfield, maybe Nimmo plays center, and Acuna plays second base in that way.
And also, if there's a game just to start moving into the Nationals preview, like Sunday against Mitchell Parker, McNeil won't play that game. He won't start at least.
Fine. Yeah.
And it's nice to have a guy like McNeil to come in when a bad right-handed reliever comes in the game, he could pinch hit. Like McNeil pinch hitting for Luis Acuna in the 6th inning, that sounds great to me. Luis Acuna pinch running for someone in the 7th inning, a different game, that also sounds great to me. There's
pinch running for Mark Vientos. That's awesome.
We got options right now. This is a good, deep, well-constructed team. That's what we can hang our hats on.
Yes. All right, let's go ahead and get to that Nationals preview right now. What are the pitching matchups for a weird 4-game series that ends on a Monday?
Weird 4-game series. I don't know what we're going to do for the
We've
episodes.
We've done this with the Nationals a couple times in the last couple years. We've ended on Mondays.
Specifically the Nationals. And the game times are also strange. So Friday, 6:45, Kodai Senga versus Jake Irvin. Saturday, 4:05, Clay Holmes versus TBA. We don't know yet. Sunday at 1:35, sneaky ace-off right here. Tylor Megill versus Mitchell Parker. And then Monday, 4:05, so kind of half a travel day to come back home, Griffin Canning versus old friend Trevor Williams.
So we miss Mackenzie Gore right now.
Yes, as of right now, he's pitching today. Is he pitching today? Wait, he's not pitching today.
No,
he might be the Saturday TBA then.
Wait, why is he listed as a TBA?
It says the TBA though, because his last game was in Coors when he pitched on Saturday, so he should be pitching. Oh, they probably have a game tomorrow that he's pitching that game. No off day. That makes sense. Nice. Yes.
Yeah, missing him is great because he's so good. He's like the best pitcher in baseball right now.
Yeah, he just struck out 12 guys and got 28 swings and misses in the game.
In Coors.
Which is literally unthinkable. But this Nationals team right now has been playing better than the Braves. They're a pesky ball club. They have kind of the reverse that we're talking about with the Mets right now, where they have a lot of exciting high-end players, but they don't have the kind of depth 1 through 26 like we're talking about, how you're able to actually stack these wins up in Major League Baseball season. That started entirely at the top. There might not be a more exciting player in baseball right now, and I say that honestly and wholeheartedly, than James Wood. He is a freak to the highest degree, an absolute madman, a lunatic. He he has some of the best power in baseball. He doesn't pull the ball ever. Like that's what he's doing right now, and it's truthfully unthinkable how good he is at the moment.
Yeah, no, he's
only 22 years old.
Someone I was unbelievably high on in the draft. Again, I mention it all the time. Couldn't believe he fell as far as he did to the San Diego Padres. The dude went in the back end of the second round, which is insane because it's like, oh, if you watch this guy play baseball, he's an absolute freak. Out in the outfield, he's a mess, but he hits like he does. No one really cares whatsoever. C.J. Abrams, we are not going to see, I believe, because he is currently on the IL.
Breaking news, James Wood just hit a 116-mile-an-hour, 431-foot home run in the first inning against Tomoyuki Sugano.
Did he pull it?
This is going to be his break.
Did he pull it?
Big breaking news in the Messed Up podcast. He pulled it.
Wow, there it is.
430.
That's terrible news to hear coming into the Mets series.
He's unbelievably good. Like he hits like a 430-foot home run every single week. Like the guy is, it's outrageous.
He's a guy who I did a video talking about or a TikTok, like top 10 players in 5 years from now. I'm like, James Wood's going to be a top 5 player in the league. Like he's just that
top 5 player
hitter.
next year.
All other things to talk about offensively, Dylan Cruz, former number 2 overall pick, has been struggling quite a bit. Had a good series out in Coors.
Yeah, heating up over the last week.
But definitely a little bit streaky right now. Everybody's favorite Met killer, Paul DeYoung, is on this roster. Oh, no, he's hurt.
No, he's hurt. He's out.
Wow. Oh, because he got hit in the face. That's right.
Another Mets killer, Josh Bell, is also been really struggling this year. He just hit a home run against the Orioles as well. Keeper Ruiz
has been great.
Yeah, and Daniel's been great. Mark, your favorite catcher, Keeper Ruiz, has been awesome this year.
Which it's taken him a while because he's been one of the worst catchers in baseball up until this season, but he's playing really well.
Yeah, they always loved him. Like they always really spoke highly of him internally. They talk about how well he's handled that pitching staff. And I want to talk about that for a second because I think that it's worth giving the Nationals a lot of credit for what they've been able to do with this ragtag pitching staff of nonsense.
Juan Soto over the last couple of years too.
Yeah, Juan Soto back in Washington. Oh, that's cool. I didn't even think about that.
Great time for him to get hot.
The TBA seems like it's going to be Brad Lord. He's the guy who's scheduled, who's in the rotation right now. I don't know who's going to take that spot before them. But this Nationals team has done an amazing job, and it looked like they were totally dead in the water a few years ago. Had no talent up and down the organization. Just traded Juan Soto for a bunch of prospects. Now a couple of them have hit, but Gore seems to finally be taking a massive step forward. It always seemed like he was close. Just takes pitchers a while. 26-year-old pitcher, still kind of young.
Yeah.
But just what they're getting right now out of guys like Jake Irvin, Mitchell Parker, DJ Hurst last year. He's on the IL right now. Michael Soroka really flashed before he got hurt this year. Kei Cavalli is a guy who will be back this year and be pretty exciting. He's the most pedigree of those guys. But specifically the two guys we're going to see in the series, Jake Irvin and Mitchell Parker, as two dudes who don't really flash a lot to the naked eye, but especially Parker as a massive lefty. He's got a splitter and a curveball. The command is kind of iffy. Like he's still, again, he's only 25 years old. He's still probably 2 years away from the best version of himself, but looks like a full-blown major league pitcher. Was a draft pick, a 5th-round pick by the Nationals back in 2020, developed himself. Jake Irvin, too, just looks like a fine, regular, a good back-end starter for a very long period of time. Another guy with a really good curveball, big righty.
He strikes out a lot of guys, too. He's had some great performances against the Mets, Jake Irvin.
Again, these two guys don't really seem exciting or special, but this is the kind of things that your organization can convert. Pitchers like this, back-end, middle rotation type guys that you drafted, you developed yourself. So shout out to them for doing that because it looked like this rotation was going to be down in a bad way a couple of years ago.
Yeah, no, they've done a really good job so far with their rebuild. That being said, if we get the stars out of this game, it's open season. The bullpen has been putridly bad. Like Colin Poche is getting shelled. Your boy Lucas Sims is getting shelled. Eduardo Salazar stinks. Jose Ferrer still throws 100, but he's been getting shelled.
Jose Ferrer's been a good bit bad luck on the bat.
Oh, really?
I think he's still throwing. He's just throwing gas nonstop. 99 mile an hour.
Jorge
sinkers.
Lopez should be there, right?
He's there. We're gonna see Jorge Lopez this series, guys.
He's definitely gonna do something weird.
Yeah, Kyle Finnegan's still been pitching well, but it's clear the Nationals not intended with him and re-signed him in the middle of March. So clearly that shows how much they respect him. But it's just this is a scrappy team, just like all the Nationals teams are, scrappy and fun team. But they're a team
not a pushover by any means.
Yeah, not a pushover. But when you get down to the nitty gritty with them, you should be able to beat them. Also, Ahmed Rosario has been playing pretty regularly for this team. We will see Ahmed Rosario this series.
Last one I'll talk about too. Alex Call has just a really, really funny baseball savant page right now. I don't know if you guys are hip to Alex Call. I don't necessarily know what the ceiling of a guy like him will be, but his baseball savant page is hilarious because right now he is walking at an 18% rate, striking out 7% of the time. He's whiffing 8% of the time and chasing 14% of the time. So he doesn't swing and miss. He doesn't chase. He walks, doesn't hit the ball hard. But that's a crazy, weird mix of just incredible plate discipline at one of the most elite levels right now in the game.
I also remember last year, he definitely had a big hit against us. And I shouted him out because I always like guys like Alex Call in like the very deep, like the 15-team fantasy leagues, because like he's going to play. And now he's been playing not every day, but like sneaking a couple more starts in there for Dylan Cruz as he's been struggling because gets on base, scores, runs, really helps you in those categories. And a national fan who definitely hate watches this show was like, that's right, James. You got Alex Call in your deep league. Well, he just fucked the Mets. And I'm like, I hope that guy hops in my DMs again because that was a funny one. That made me laugh last
Can
year.
you
Like,
guess what Midwestern college Alex Call went to? Unless you know it.
Was it Big Ten?
No, not Big Ten, but a little action.
Miami, Ohio.
Ball State, so close.
Wow. Shout out to Sammy, the Ball State Redhawks.
Ball so hard. Anything else to talk about here with this national series? It's time to wrap it up.
I think wrap it up. I'm going to check Frankie Peppers real quick.
Yeah, what does Frankie Peppers got? I mean, listen, a sweep of the Phillies again. Unbelievable. The vibes were incredible. The subway was an absolute mess on the way home. I don't understand how we still haven't figured out the subways at Citi Field. What a shit show that was. That'll be my only complaint is we got to figure that out. But the stadium's great. The vibes are great. Beautiful afternoon. Let's hear it from Frankie Peppers.
Here's Frankie.
Gentlemen, Frankie Peppers, how you doing?
How you doing?
Citi Field is the cleanest baseball stadium in the world because for the second time in a week, we got a sweep, boys. We call it spring cleaning in this household. I don't know what to say much more than this is a phenomenal run that these Mets are on. I'm at a loss for words how much fun this has been to watch, and this isn't even when the offense is all the way there yet. It's a really wonderful thing to see. I don't got much to say, so I'm not going to say too much. I appreciate you boys. I hope you're doing well, and I'll talk to you soon. Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets.
Tight one from Frankie. But yeah, it was a great series. Every Mets fan is smiling ear to ear tomorrow. And a well-deserved off day, and I'm just going to be basking in these last two sweeps against teams I really fucking hate.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So you really couldn't have drawn it up any better than to win 7 straight against the Cardinals and the Phillies.
Absolutely not.
All right, guys, make sure you are subscribed to the Mets'd podcast. Shout out to all our members. Remember, you can get the episodes early if you are a member of the YouTube channel.
And we're going to do the member Q&A next week.
Yes, next week we'll be doing a live stream exclusive to members only on the Mets'd podcast YouTube channel. Again, it's $2.99 a month, totally optional. But for those of you who want to see podcast episodes early, as well as the exclusive live stream Q&A that we're going to do every month, keep an eye out for that. Join the membership. I'll leave a link to our Discord as well in the description of both YouTube and the audio version of this podcast if you guys want to join the community there. We're going to have some giveaways coming up next week, getting a Howard Johnson signed jersey sent to us, so we're going to give that away to you guys. So make sure you're following us on all our social media at Mets'd Up so you don't miss out on that. And if you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. You can follow James on Twitter and YouTube at
James Shiano, baby.
And I'm Draftneck Mark with a C. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Let's fucking go Mets. Fuck the Phillies. See you guys next time.
Peace out. Let's go Mets.